Okay, so we'll start with memory and learning. And it's learning. So we'll start with what is learning and which are the different processes of learning, what is happening during learning, etc. Okay. And the other aspect of learning, or after learning, you memorize it, and that means you reproduce it. You try to retention of what you have learned. That is called as memory. So that is another aspect of the higher function. So first we'll start with the learning. Okay, and it is the acquisition of information. It is like how you acquire an information. Okay, how you acquire an information. There are different ways. Okay, different techniques are there, and except your reflexes, except the inborn or other reflexes, most of your knowledge is acquired. Okay, or your response is acquired. So learning, we can say, it is a change in the behavior of an individual which occurs through experience and practice. Okay, an experience and practice can change the behavior or alter the behavior of an individual, and that process is called as learning. Okay, and 99 percentage of activities of a person are learned except those reflex actions. Okay, and there are two types of learning: non-associative learning and associative learning. In non-associative learning, you are not associating two stimuli. Okay, you're responding, the person is responding to one stimulus or one type of stimulus at a time. Okay, if you are responding to a voice or to a noise or to any pain stimulus, but that stimulus will that's at a time towards only one type of stimulus. You are not associating the sound to any other type of stimulus. Okay, or you're not associating the pricking pain to any other type of stimulus. Okay, so it is known as non-associating, no association of two or more stimulus. The person response or involvement of the response of one of a person to only one type of stimulus. But in associative learning, you are relating a stimulus to another stimulus for a response. Okay, so for a classical example is ringing the bell, giving the food, and ringing the bell is a type of stimulus and giving the food is another type of stimulus, and the response is salivation. Okay, so that is two stimuli are associated. Okay, two stimuli or more stimuli, this is here I've given two stimuli, so two or more stimuli are associated, or you learn the relationship between two stimuli. Ringing the bell can be related to getting the food. Okay, ringing the bell and getting the food. Okay, so that is called as an associative learning. So in non-associative learning is based on two factors. One is habituation and the other one is sensitization. So this we have already discussed in some other aspects like reflex. We have discussed this habituation. Habituation means it is getting used to do something, used to something to which a person is constantly exposed. So I have given the most normal example, classical example is like a louder, a sudden noise, a thunder shot or gunshot for noise. So initially, first for the first time, if you listen to a gunshot, you will have a jerky movement, okay, a sudden stunning movement, and or a thunder shot. But if it continues, you lose that reflex. You become adapted to that response, that stimuli. That is called as you became habituated. Okay, you try to ignore that stimulus, trying to ignore that stimulus unless it is harmful. Okay, it should not be a harmful stimulus, and you ignore that one. Sensitization means you become more intensive, more sensitive to that type of stimulus, and intensive response. Okay, the body is made to become more sensitive to a particular stimulus, and that must be a harmful stimulus to the body. Okay, like suppose you touch a hot substance or a flame, and you get burned. Okay, it causes painful sensation to you. That after that, whenever you see a flame, you will not touch it. That stimulus intensifies it. Okay, that stimulus intensifies the response. See here you can see the development of those, or the neurons response. This is the control one. And habituation means no more neuronal connections, no more development of the neuronal connections. For sensitization, more neuronal connections are formed. See, all your memory learning all depends on the formation of new connections, okay, and transmission of more and more impulses between neurons. Okay, new connections and more impulse transmission. So for a sensitization, there is development of new neuronal connections. For a habituation, inhibition of neuronal connections. Okay, so that is habituation and sensitization, and it is related to the non-associative learning. Okay, so learning has two aspects: non-associative learning and associative learning. In non-associative learning, the response of a person is towards only one type of stimulus. Okay, in associative learning, more than the relation between two or more stimuli is involved. Okay, and in non-associative learning, it is based on two factors: habituation and sensitization. Habituation means you are trying to ignore, you learn to ignore a type of stimulus. Sensitization, you become the response become more intensive, or amplification of a response towards the stimulus, more sensitive towards the stimulus. And now we'll go to the associative learn. These are the examples of your all conditioned reflexes. Okay, all your reflexes or the higher levels of learning are associative learning. We can see here, see this a seal or a dolphin is associating the stimulus hitting the ball and getting the food. The ball hits, if it hits the ball, it gets food. Okay, this is a stimulus and this is also stimulus. The two stimuli are related. If the things like if he hits the ball, he gets the food. Okay, so it associates the hitting of the ball with getting of the fish. Okay, the association of two stimuli, and so that is the response. Okay, and so accordingly the response. So examples are classical conditioning, operant or instrumental conditioning, and observational learning, cognitive learning. All these are examples of associative learning. Okay, and we'll see classical conditioning. See, this is Ivan Pavlov's experiments. This is Pavlov and excuse me, please mute. Okay, so Pavlov and and the latest next slides you'll see another scientist also. They all done extensive researches on this learning, associative learning and conditional reflexes. Okay, so here this is a classical experiment. See, this is a setup for draining, for collecting the saliva, etc. Setups are there. In this, what he did is, like, there are unconditioned stimulus, conditioned stimulus. Okay, conditioned, unconditioned stimulus is the food. Like, why it is unconditioned? Because if the food is kept inside your mouth, the response is the salivation. Okay, so food is an unconditioned stimulus when kept inside the mouth. So even if you don't know about the food also, if it is kept inside the mouth, there will be salivation. That is an unconditioned response. Okay, keeping the food inside and salivation from the mouth is unconditioned stimulus and unconditioned response. Okay, and then you are associating a conditioned stimulus with this unconditioned stimulus. Okay, that means so this is an experiment. While experimenting, you ring a bell first and followed by keeping the food, okay, or giving the food to the dog, and then there will be salivation. The salivation is unconditioned response because food is there. Okay, the food is there, presence of food is there. So the dog, and eventually, like, this is repeated, this ringing of the bell and supplying the food immediately. Immediate supply of the food is continuous. This trial is continued for many days, like 50, 100 days it continues. And after that, this condition, during this process, this dog associates the ring of the bell to the food. Okay, so two stimuli. This dog associates a conditioned stimulus to an unconditioned stimulus. Okay, and after that, after proper conditioning, the bell alone, the ringing of the bell alone causes a salivation, a conditioned response. The salivation towards the ringing of the bell is the conditioned response. Okay. So the salivation happens just by hearing or listening to the ringing of the bell. So that means the dog is conditioned, or the dog learned to associate. See, it's an associative learning. To associate the ringing of the bell with the getting of the food, with the unconditioned reflex, unconditioned stimulus, the food. Okay, the reception of the food. Now the dog knows whenever the ringing of the bell, it is my time to get the food. Okay, so this is conditioning of a conditioned reflex, conditioned stimulus with the unconditioned stimulus, or you are adapting to a conditioned response. Okay, and so this condition reflexes are of two types: positive or excitatory condition reflexes, negative condition reflexes. Okay, in positive excitatory condition reflexes, one second. Okay, this positive or excitatory condition reflexes, it is like associating more number of stimuli. So here primary condition reflex means it's only one type of conditioned stimuli is associated, like giving the food with a bell. Okay, so one conditioned stimuli is CS is associated. Secondary condition means you are associating another stimulus. So ringing the bell plus flashing a light. Okay, after ringing the bell, you flash a light. A flasher light is associated. So the dog eventually learns flashing of a light is also associated with ringing of the bell. And then the unconditioned stimulus, the food, getting the food. And tertiary means three types of stimulus, and more than three types cannot be associated for these experimental conditions. Okay, so primary, one type of stimulus is conditioned CS. You can see here CS, conditioned stimulus is associated only the bell. And secondary means two types, a bell and a flash of light is associated. Tertiary, anything else, the flash of light, bell, and something else is associated. Okay, and negative reflexes means abolishing of the reflex. Okay, abolishing of this conditioned reflex. Natural reflex, unconditioned reflex will be there for sure. Abolishing of the conditioned reflex, that type of conditioned reflex is called as negative conditioned reflex. So there are two types: external or indirect inhibition, internal or direct inhibition of the reflex. Okay, in external or indirect inhibition, so it is associated with an external interruption or distraction of the animal. So suppose of the bell, the ringing of the bell, and the dog starts the salivation, but sudden entry of a stranger or any other sudden noises. Okay, so in that case, the dog get distracted and there will be stoppage of the salivation, or there will be stoppage of the conditioned reflex. That is called as external or indirect inhibition. In that case, in this case, you are distracting the animal from the conditioned stimulus. Okay, from the conditioned stimulus. And so there is inhibition of the conditioned reflex. So conditioned reflex means the reflex occurs after the conditioning. See, the ringing of the bell and salivation. Here, the salivation towards the ringing of the bell is the conditioned reflex. So here we are abolishing it. Okay, that's so it is called as negative conditioning reflex. So internal means within the animal itself you are trying. In that case, there's extinction of the conditioned reflex. You are abolishing the conditioned reflex by not reinforcing. You have to reinforce. See, you continue this experiment for 100 days, and for another for few days, like 10-15 days, this dog will follow only bell, and there'll be salivation. But you continue that like only bell, they won't, there is no food, you just ring the bell and the dog salivates, but you are not providing any type of food. Okay, and eventually the dog forgets it, or there is no reinforcing of this conditioned stimulus. Okay, in that case there will be extinction of the condition after 10 days. Okay, maximum 10, not 10, like 50, 100 days. If you give on, if you are not giving food along with the bell, the dog forgets about this conditioned stimulus. Okay, and there is no reinforcing. So after that, after 100 days or 50 or 60 days, if you ring the bell, the dog will not listen. There won't be that conditioned reflex, there won't be that salivation. Okay, that is called as extinction of conditioned reflex. Means you need to reinforce then every now and then, or in between you have to reinforce the conditioned stimulus. And now it is conditioned inhibition, means you are giving you are associating another, say like a secondary condition reflex plus the ringing of the bell, you are giving anything else like flashing of the light. Immediately the dog will not respond to the flashing of the light. Okay, but eventually it associates the flashing of the light is also a part of the ringing of the bell, so it starts the salivation. So otherwise it will get distracted. Okay, inhibition or delayed condition reflex, that means ring the bell and you supply the food after a long period, like after like 10-20 minutes you are supplying the food. That will leads to delayed condition reflex, or delay in the or inhibit the inhibition of the reflex by delaying giving the unconditioned stimulus or giving of the food. Okay, and then another one is differential inhibition. That means if you change the sound, so ringing of the bell, instead of ringing of the bell of the same bell, you are getting another type of the bell. Okay, towards that bell the dog will not respond because they can differentiate between the intensity of the sounds, okay, of the voices. They have the ability to differentiate, so that is called as differential. You cannot peep a horn. Okay, so all these will not lead to the salivation. So it should be the same type of stimulus, same intensity. Otherwise, the dog or the animal will differentiate the intensity and there won't be any saliva secretion. So that is called as differential inhibition. So internal inhibitions are of 4 types. Extinction, that complete stoppage of reinforcing. Condition means distraction. Inhibition or delay in giving the natural stimulus, or difference in the bell intensity of the stimulus. Okay, so these are the 4 internal or inhibition of the condition reflexes in case of negative condition reflex. These all are experimental setups. Okay, and now we'll go to the associative learning or operant or instrumental conditioning. In associative, in associative learning, we have learned the condition reflexes or classical conditioning, and now we'll go to the operant conditioning or instrumental. Okay, in this the animal is taught to perform a task in order to obtain a reward or to escape from a punishment. Okay, there are two activities. One is that performance is to get a reward or to get something which makes him happy, which makes it happy, or the performance is to just to escape from a painful feeling or a punishment. Okay, so in this it is a voluntary behavior, and in this the animal is active. And the operant conditions are different kinds are there. Conditioned avoidance reflex. In this in this experimental condition, the animal was taught to press a bar to avoid electricity. Okay, if there was continuous electricity supply, and somehow the animal learned that pressing a bar will cut off the electricity. Okay, so in that the animal learned pressing the bar to avoid the current, electrical current. Okay, and then another one is food avoidance reflex. In this case, they have supplied, they gave the animal food along with a small injection which with a drug which caused nausea, vomiting sensation. Okay, nausea and irritability in the body. And then the animal started avoiding that food. The food was actually tasty and it was a favorite food for the animal, but that caused the animal nausea sensation and irritability to the body. Okay, so the animal afterwards, it completely avoided that type of food and called as a type of aversion, food aversion. Okay, another experiment is conditioned reward reflex. Okay, in this, pressing of the bar, after pressing the bar, the animal was provided with a food or banana or something. So it is a reward. Okay, that animal learned if it press the bar or lever, it gets something reward or some kind of food or some pleasure. That is called as conditioned reward reflex. Okay, in operant conditioning, we have there are different type of experimentations like conditioned avoidance reflex, food avoiding reflex, and conditioned reward reflexes. And we have like Pavlov, we have another type, another a number of scientists who have done experiments. So you can see our operant instrumental conditioning, Thorndike's law or effect. Thorndike, he proposed in effect, or he states that if a response in the presence of a stimulus is followed by a satisfying state, the association between the stimulus association and the stimulus will be strengthened. Okay, stimulus of association between the stimulus and the response will be strengthened. That means, see, this is the experiment. This is a Thorndike stage or puzzle. It is called as a puzzle, Thorndike's puzzle. In this, the cat was encaged. Okay, it was put in the cage, and it is like trial and error. The cat doesn't know that the lever. See, if you press this lever, if this, it can try, it can open this lever, this latch, and there is another lever is there. With the help of that, he can open the door. He doesn't know anything about that. But trial and error, the cat was keep on trying because the food is kept out. So he's getting the smell of the food, the fish. Okay, the food, and he was trying to open this gate. Okay, and somehow he succeeded in that. Okay, so that first trial was, it took a long time, and finally he could manage and he came out and he got food. So this is like a favorable, this condition is favorable. Okay, or it is like a satisfying condition after all these processes. Okay, this is the stimulus here, putting inside the cage, and this is the response. Okay, so trying to open this is the type of response, and that stimulus and response, they are associated with a favorable or a satisfying state. So next time when the cat is kept inside, he knows if it opens it, the food is waiting outside for him. So next attempt was very faster or quicker. The same thing, it is learned. Okay, so it is learning. So here the Thorndike, he associates the condition, if the after effect of the response should be favorable, then the response is getting intensified, or this trial gets more intensified. He states like that. Okay, the stimulus is followed by a satisfying state. The response in the presence of the stimulus, if it is followed by a satisfying state, the food, the association between the response and the stimulus, it should be response here, response and stimulus will be strengthened. Okay, the trial will be very fast. Okay, another scientist, Skinner, that is called as Skinner's experiment. He states that manipulating the environment can manipulate the behavior. In this setup, there were two experiments. Okay, in the first setup, there you can see food pellet here, pressing of the lever. So somehow this rat, he learned pressing of the lever provides food pellet. Okay, and it continued for longer period. And after that, in the same setup, you can see alarms. Okay, the alarms here and the lever here, and this platform is supplied with electricity, shock generator. Okay, so this he Skinner supplied, or he made this platform like supplied with electricity. Okay, which caused this rat a harmful uh, sensation or a painful sensation. And that before supplying the electricity, he managed to alarm, to keep an alarm signal. Okay, to flash the red light here. And after few days, few timing update, few trials, like this rat learned, and then there is a pressing the bar, pressing this bar or lever, it shut off the electricity. Okay, shut off the electricity. So after few trials, the rat learned this flashing of this red alarm as an indication for the supply of electricity. Okay, and rat already learned by some of this trial and error, again learned that pressing of this bar will shut off the electricity. And after few trials, this alarm itself, the red flash itself, caused or made the rat to press the lever to shut off the electricity. That means it is learning. It manipulated, the environment is manipulated from the food to electricity. So the behavior also changed. That means the behavior is like towards the red light. The red light flashes the red light. This rat is trying to save himself from the painful stimuli of the electricity. Okay, so that is Skinner's experiment. These all are experiments to learn the behaviors. Okay, another one is associative, another type of learning. So here we were learning about the reflex learning. So different types of reflexes, like instrumental reflexes, etc. Associative learning, normal, classical reflex, and then operant conditioning, classical conditioning and operant conditioning. And here observational learning, you can see it in kids observing or imitating the behavior of others. Okay, this is like normal behavior of a person, observation and imitation. So in that observing, that person whom we are observing is called as the model. Okay, it's also called as modeling. It's explained by Albert Bandura by Bandura's Bobo doll experiment. In this, there were three groups of the kids. Kids were around below 4 years, like below 5 years, 3 to 5 years of ages. In this kids, there were three groups. One group, there were no models, like no like people whom to observe. The kids were allowed to play with the toys along with this Bobo doll. And other two groups, one male model and one female model were there. Okay, was then male model and female model, they both were playing Bobo doll with rage. Okay, they were shouting, they were kicking, hitting the Bobo doll, and these kids, they observed it. And after that, these kids were let play along with the Bobo doll. Okay, no models, the male model and female model was not there, but these how it is, like these kids already observed the behavior of the adults, how towards the Bobo doll, they were shouting and they were kicking, etc. So these kids also started playing aggressively with this Bobo doll. Okay, they just observed the behavior of the adults, how they were behaving to the Bobo doll. These other two groups with male and female model, they were behaving very aggressively towards the Bobo doll. But the other kids, those who were not observed, who did not observe the model, they were playing naturally with any other kind of toys. Okay, how they play with any other kind of toys, they were playing naturally with the Bobo doll. So it is a model of observing, how the kids or how people observe others and imitate. Okay, so it is called as observation. This type of learning, or noting the positive negative consequences of actions and imitating those actions, are called as observational learning. Okay, another type is cognitive learning. This is a higher level of learning what we are doing now. Cognitive process means, cognition means the ability to think. You think and you learn. Okay, you think and you act. So it is a process, the highest role, or it is a key process, or it is the highest level of learning, cognitive learning. Okay, and is in this animal is active. In this, there are two experiments: insight learning by Collar and Tolman. Okay, in Collar, this is done. This is Sultan is a chimpanzee. His name is Sultan. He was put inside the enclosure with some boxes and sticks, and they were kept food, bananas were kept outside. And this Sultan, he managed to, he was, this enclosure was with tall uh, barricades. Okay. And the Sultan could not get out of this enclosure by himself. Okay. And now the Sultan, he learned to stack these boxes with the help of these sticks, etc. He managed to come out. Okay, he managed to cross these barricades of the enclosure and came out to have the banana. That means he used his cognitive power, thinking power, or he analyzed the boxes and he learned the boxes can be kept one above the other and he can use it for crossing the enclosure. So that is a way of cognitive learning. That is experiment with collar by collar with Sultan. And this is Stallman's learning by mix. The Stallman, what he said is like, in all the other previous condition reflexes, you learn that you need a stimulus for response. Okay. Or a reinforcement of the stimulus and response. Like you should keep on ring the bell to get conditioned for the response of salivation. Like that, you learn many examples of reinforcing. The Tolman, what he said, you don't need to reinforce. Okay. To learn. Learning does not require any type of reinforcement. Reinforcement strengthens the response. Reinforcement only strengthens the response. It is not helpful in learning. That means he put, this is a maze, a complicated maze. So this is start one. He put the 3 groups of rats here. So first 10 days, the first group of rats were provided, they put inside this, they somehow found the exit and got the food. For one group, group 1 got the food. 10 days, it is like 20 days experiment. Okay. So all the 20 days, the first group got the food. The next group, the second group, first 15 days, they did not get any type of food. Okay. But next 5 days, 15 to 20 days, they got the food. Okay. And other group did not get any type of food at all. Okay. Any type of food at all. And but these 3 groups managed to come out of the maze. These 3 groups, they learned how to come out of the maze. And the first group, they learned that if you come out of the maze, you get food. Okay, so they came out very faster. The second group, they also know how to come out. But first 10 days, they came out. For 15 days, they came out very slowly. But 15th day onwards, they were getting food. Now they learned if you come out, if we come out, we get food. So the second group, after 15th day till 20th, next, the rest of the days, they came out very fast. But it doesn't mean that they don't know the way. They knew the way, they were coming out slowly. They were wandering inside, simply wandering inside, and they come out. They know, they learned how to come out. They learned the way. Okay. They learned the way. It is like sign learning. They have some signs like here, and after a few days, like 15th day onward, they were getting food. So after getting food, their response became very faster. That means the reward or the stimulus or the reinforcement is only intensified the response. Okay, putting inside the maze and the response is coming outside. Okay, they came out, but after 15th day, they came out very faster. That means they just, the response is altered. That's all. Okay. They just strengthened the response. They came out faster. It doesn't mean that they did not, though they learned to come out how. They learned already to come out. Okay, this is how normal. All human beings, they have a latent learning. We learn, we know everything, but we will not take it out unless it is necessary. Okay, so that means you know how to study, you know everything. Okay, but unless there is an exam, you will not take your full ability out. Okay, so like anything, you know how to mop the house, how to sweep the house, but your mom or any elders will be there, or you will have a maid. Unless they are not there, you will not do that. If one day they are not there, you just do the sweeping the same way how your parents are doing it. That means you does not require, that means that you does not know the sweeping, or the the ability of sweeping increases day by day. Okay, you know it, and whenever it is required, you take it out. Okay, and it is like signage. So when you enter the college, you try to keep the cognitive mapping, like entry. This is the hall, and from this hall you have to. You think if I go to right, you reach the canteen side. If I go to left side, you reach the left side. So it is like you use some signages to create a map, cognitive map inside the brain. Okay, and use whenever it is necessary. Okay, so he explained that the reinforcement of the stimulus does not affect the learning ability. It affects only the